put your eyes on me. 5, 5, 6, and my feelings are mixed. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the signs. 10, kiss me in the rain. 1, 2, 3, you're too blind to see. 4, 5, 6, 8, I'm taking the risk. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the line. 10, kiss me in the rain. Children, we're just children. Children, we're just children. Play with me, I'll play with you. I just want us to be true. Tell me that you love me too. Or just give me a clue. Give me a clue. We're just children. We're just children. Children, children. One, two, three, you put your eyes on me. 5, 5, 6, and my feelings are mixed. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the signs. 10, kiss me in the rain. 1, 2, 3, you're too blind to see. 4, 5, 6, 8, I'm taking the risk. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the line. 10, kiss me in the rain. Children, we're just children. Children, we're just children. Play with me, I'll play with you. I just want us to be true. Tell me that you love me too. Or just give me a clue. Give me a clue. We're just children. We're just children. Children, children. 1, 2, 3, you put your eyes on me. 5, 5, 6, and my feelings are mixed. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the signs. 10, kiss me in the rain. 1, 2, 3, you're too blind to see. 4, 5, 6, 8, I'm taking the risk. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the line. 10, kiss me in the rain. Children, we're just children. Children, we're just children. Play with me, I'll play with you. I just want us to be true. Tell me that you love me too. Or just give me a clue. Give me a clue. We're just children. We're just children. Children, children.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome along to Viva la Mexico. It's the Mexican Grand Prix, of course, for the Tier 2 of SLR Season 7. I'm back again. Done the Tier 4 this week. We're now, well, the Tier 3 was yesterday, and then, of course, now the Tier 2 is here. So, well, I'm the Biggles filling in as well for our fantastic Tier 2 team, as well as person in pole position, a.k.a. Eversnacks. G'day, g'day.
Hello, guys. Eversnacks all here. Yeah, I'm also back to commentating, and really excited to get back into the commentary booth here. And yeah, we're back for another race here in Tier 2. I've done a few of these, and yeah, it should be interesting. We've got Azaken, our leading driver here. I think he's still looking very good in the championship, so expecting a lot from him today. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
Speaking of which, before the drives go out, I think it's a good idea to actually let everybody know about how that situation is with the overlay, well, the standings, and that's what it will be currently at the moment. Hopefully I got that one all correct.
Right, so
yes.
We do have Azaken leading the championship still with Daisy and Crystals in the chase, but they're both pretty far behind, actually.
I believe I have the wrong one up at the moment. My apologies about that.
Well,
yeah, I definitely have the wrong one up.
Knowledge.
Yeah, I'll change it. I was showing the Tier 3. So let's go to the Tier 2. There it is.
All right, yeah, we have Azaken first place for Aston Martin right now. He's got a 40 points gap back to Daisy, so Daisy isn't going to take first place today from him, but we'll see how it evolves over the next few races. But in the team's championship, Aston Martin just running away with it. However, Aston Martin has lost one of their drivers that has been with them for a long time now. Alexander is no longer driving for Aston Martin here, so Azaken is now driving with Loth as his teammate. We'll see what happens in the team's championship there. But then we have a Daisy 40 points behind, as I said. Crystal's in third place on 128, and then Hudim a whole 100 points behind the first place. Only in fourth, so huge gaps in the points there. There's not going to be a lot of things happening at the top of the championship, but then behind the two Ferraris, then we have Edge, Pemi, Joel, and Ace Boy in the top 10. The gaps down there aren't as big, so we might see some changes there and in the team's championship as well.
Excellent, thank you very much for that. I got the right one. Sorry, so many of the different tiers, but We get it done here at SLR. That's the beauty of it. The drivers are finally coming out for their short qualifying session. Galileo on the mediums, Edge sitting in the pits in the mediums, and Galeas, I think, in 17th position currently at the moment. They're the Ferrari driver. I'm going to balls up these names. Apologies about that. And thank you very much. Mimo, hello. It's the Ocean Chief himself out there saying hit that subscribe button. Whamsy. The usual suspects. G'day, guys. Welcome along. And I'm going to see who's going to be on a flying lap currently at the moment. I think we'll go down to Adizi himself, and, you know, he's really getting spicing up in the championship at the moment. So I've also got that live game data.
I think Jen is a slight bit ahead of him on track, is on the mediums right now and on a hot lap as well. So we'll see what time he can set. He's usually pretty fast, so I'd expect a good time from him even on the mediums. Pretty interesting. Oh, and Ace Boy retires. He's hit a wall.
Where was that? Currently at the moment, I can't see. That's around through the S's section at the moment. It looks like I was on board with Crystals. He's backed off on his flying lap.
Oh, and the Zaken as well. Yeah, something happened there, but the Zaken is going slow at the same place where we just had Aceboy retire. Wizzo actually in the pits, so Wizzo just not driving a qualifying lap for whatever reason. I think a Zaken was actually on a pretty fast lap before he abandoned it. Is that possible? I think so, yeah.
Now you're referring to...
Jagu taking P1 there, yeah.
Yeah, I was just on board with him currently. I'm Azekin going back into the pits. Yeah, sometimes I might get a little bit confused with these names because they're not familiar, so you might have to shout out some positions so I can catch that action pretty quickly because, yeah, well, new to this. Welcome up. Is the stream lagging for everybody else? I hope not. It's looking good for me that I'm watching on the YouTube, but if it is, please let me know. I'm on board with Joel, sitting his first time at me this evening. It's a 15. Only man in the 14s is Jagu.
Yeah, it's also looking good for me.
Excellent. That's just probably... trust me, Twitch is really bad for me, and it's good for everybody else. Loft's looking good. Purple.
Yeah. I think Loft just changed his team, so we'll see how he can do in the Aston Martin. He's been driving a Williams for the rest of the season, so he'll have to adjust to a new car here. Should be interesting to see how fast he can go here. But we just have Hudim and Joel jumping into P2 and 3 respectively. Pretty good lap times here, 1:15.3, 1:15.4. But they'll have to improve before the end of the session in order to get a good position here. Like we see here with Jagu, just a 1:14.6, very dominant so far. But we haven't seen a lap from a Zaken and we haven't seen a lap from a Daisy, so
Lofty,
I think we might see some changes up there.
Lofty just goes up at a P2 there, 5/10, so half a second down there. So the Ferrari driver of Saladias, I think that is, currently hit the purple sector 1. Not a bad time in the sector 2 as he goes through the grandstand section, listens to all the crazy Mexicans going ballistic there, and seeing how he can get that tuck up against the wall as close as he possibly can. But the Ferrari is going to look good up at a P2. What does the Fox say? The Fox is at 34.3. That's not a very good first sector. You need to be into the 28.3, so probably back off on this one and give it a shot again. He's got no battery, so he'll probably box. Well, who do you like to go for on an outlap there? Maybe DZ or somebody like that, or
we've got Crystals right at the end of his outlap right now.
All right,
he's gearing up to get on a lap on those medium. At least I'm seeing medium tires. It's telling me that there are soft tires. But
they're mediums. All right, a hot lap. Go ahead. Give us a hot lap around here.
So onto the very long main straight he goes. DRS activating right here. The rear wing is wide open and he's just accelerating very high speeds that you can reach on this track. He can go quite far over 300 kilometers per hour. And then he very heavy braking zone into turn 1. That's going to be very interesting in the race. He's got this chicane here, very slow section actually. Oh, that's actually a lot of wheel spin there. That may be a bit too much sliding for his taste. But yeah, those mediums just not giving as much grip as the softs here for sure. Very heavy braking zone here again into a very slow, I think it's stadium section. Some very slow turns here. He's got this weird double apex. It's really hard to get this one right. Looks very clean. Bit of wheel spin on the exit again. But yeah, I think he might be using that wheel spin. At least a slight bit. Sliding it around a bit to gain some time. Going through the S's now. And he's invalidated his lap. Yeah, he's cut that one of the... Oh, and he's spinning and into the wall he goes. He's out of qualifying. Oh, he just held on to it for too long.
Apologies about that. I completely missed it because I changed over to a DZ because he's crossing the line setting the second fastest time per se this evening. Sorry about that. Completely mixed that one.
Yeah, so
That's a
Crystal
DNA.
just out of the... He invalidated his lap, but he just kept it on the throttle and spun right into a wall. That was... Oh, that was a shame. He was going pretty fast. Bit much sliding, I'd say. So maybe those mediums aren't as fast as some of these drivers are expecting from them. I'm now taking a look at Azaken. He's just done a 28 point something in the first sector. I
think Lofty's improving at the moment. He's got a purple in the middle sector. He's invalidated just on that final corner, I think it was too.
Lots of invalidations here.
Adizi's committing to a second
he's
lap.
Invalidated into the...
But I think we'll go down to the man leading the championship at the moment, Azaken.
Yeah, Azaken on the straight right now. He's done a 55.3 there for the middle sector. Into this very slow section. There's some very tight corners on this track. It's going to be interesting to watch in the race how these drivers can manage to get through those corners without hitting each other. Mexico is pretty notorious. Yeah, pretty clean second place here, but still 3/10 behind Jagu, who's on pole still.
Yeah, not bad, but this man could be stealing this one away. That's Galileo. That's the Williams driver.
It's very impressive from Jagu here. He's 11th in the championship standings right now, and he's just pushing out by far the best lap that we've seen so far. 1:14.6 still stands as the fastest lap today. Of course, we've lost some of the faster drivers, but still very impressive that lap time.
A lot of work to have to do.
A lot.
This man's looking good to steal this one away, perhaps, from Jagu. This man being Galileo. Doesn't invalidate around here. Is going to be right up there. Either just ahead or behind, and way ahead, actually. Well, 57 thousandths of a second. Not way ahead, but certainly looking pretty good. What about Larson on the mediums? Nobody else that I'm seeing really on an absolutely flying lap. How's that weather forecast looking for us this evening for the qualifying and race? Looking sunshine all around. 3% chance of rain. I don't think we're going to have to worry about those intermediate or wet tyres this evening.
Yeah, it's a pretty dry track here. Not a lot of rain expected for sure. But yeah, as I said, it can still get very interesting on this track. I've seen a lot of safety cars on this track before, especially races that I've participated in. This track is just quite hard to get right and quite hard not to hit others on. But Giannis on a pretty fast middle sector, I think. In the Ferrari, setting better laps than he had, at least. But he's now in the soft, so we should expect quite some improvement there.
Yeah, final corner for the Ferrari driver coming on there. He's got a fan club out there saying go RCC. That's the RCC for both the team. He's up in a P3 there, and his teammate's currently in P5. So
yeah, very solid laps there. We do have Jagu going for a hot lap again, so our man who's not on pole position anymore, but in second place, now chasing for that pole again, trying to get his position back, improving just a slight bit.
Yeah, we're on board right now with the Mercedes driver. As you can see in the hot lap graphic up there on your top right, is that going to be a purple, green, or you don't want a red? The yellow means you've gone a little bit slower than your previous best. He
is improving and does despite quite some wheel spin there.
It's 2/10 currently off the overall time. It's got a bit of work to do.
Looking very clean here through that middle sector. If he can manage not to invalidate here, that could be on for a good lap. And he invalidates. Yep, there we go.
He needed a 55. You can see the quickest for that middle sector, but that's actually both the first and second sector. Who else should we go down to at the moment?
At the very least, Jagu can say for himself that he didn't do the crystal. He actually backed up his lap.
Didn't do the crystal. He needed a crystal ball. See into the future, perhaps. Well, Desi the fly. Oh, sorry about that. The flying fin. 4/10s down currently at the moment on the overall quickest time, which is a 1:14.6 set by Galileo.
Yeah, so a lot of these guys who tried to go for the mediums at the start have now decided to go for the softs. Those mediums just don't seem to have enough grip to go for a fast lap. And there we go, a Daisy up into P3 with the softs.
Go back to the Alpine driver of Edge. driving on the absolute edge. Fastest first sector for this man. Where is he running into the final sector at the moment? Fastest middle sector as well, even though it's showing 76 thousandths of a second up. At least this could be really good. How's he going to snatch up these final couple of corners, keep it out of the barriers right here, where the Ferraris and the real F1 have slapped that wall, but no problem right now for the Alpine driver.
Yeah, so Edge definitely one of those drivers who are really good at qualifying, as you can tell from that lap. 3/10 ahead. That's a really strong lap. But yeah, Edge, one of those drivers really strong in qualifying, sometimes struggles to hold on to those positions in the race. So he'll have to just drive a careful race, keep safe on track, not have any incidents, and maybe he can hold on to a podium position, potentially even a win.
I see that a lot actually from drivers, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic qualifying pace, but when it comes to the race, they're just either not lucky or wrong place at the wrong time. We just don't have that similar race pace. So what do you actually do to improve on that situation if you do find yourself in that you know, hey, I've got pace for qualifying, but somehow it doesn't convert into the points for the race is what I need?
I think a lot of the time it's just keeping yourself calm, not trying to go for any big moves. I think a lot of the time the actual pace isn't the biggest issue. It might just be that somebody just pushes themselves too much to get past other drivers and just spins as a result, which doesn't really help. You just have to get into a calm mindset and just get those laps in. And part of it, of course, is the tire management. You have to keep those tires alive for the whole race. If you can't keep the tires alive and not in the right temperature window either, then you're not going to be driving as fast as you could be.
What we are doing is we're ignoring all the chats out there at the moment in the YouTube chat world. Because, Eversnacks, apparently you're ignoring the chat commands, and so am I, but I'm not actually.
I apologize.
I'm just testing. I'm just testing everybody out there, just to make sure if you're actually paying attention.
I have just seen Galileo invalidate his next qualifying attempt, so he's gonna potentially try another time, but maybe he'll just pull back into the pits. He doesn't want to be driving on old softs at the race start. I think Mexico can be really bad on tires, so yeah, you want to keep those softs as alive as possible for the race.
It is quite punishing on two things, tires and penalties. For sure.
Absolutely. As you can tell from this qualifying session, we've seen a lot of invalidations. So yeah, really not hard to get to lose your lap on this track.
Lofty's about to start one, if you want to go on board with him. And let's see what the Aston Martin driver can do. Oh, he's going to go straight into the pit lane right now. I'm even not going to bother with that. But Fox is committing to the medium tyres currently for the Red Bull. The ventures around the final couple of corners here in Mexico for qualifying session with 1 minute and just under 2 minutes to go in qualifying. So he could do 2 flying laps, no doubt, there on those medium tyres.
He's going for that second attempt. He's just taken a very wide line to the last corner, so I think he's going to push now on this lap. Getting as good as lap in as possible. He's got his battery pretty charged up, so it should be good for an attempt here. Yeah,
75%. We're on board with him. He is the current last place because we've seen those 3 early DNFs from the qualifying session. Some of the top guns as well too, obviously. But we'll see. How does the Fox say? 28.4 first sector. He's improved on his personal best time. It's 28.2, but remember he is on those mediums, and he's really risking it for the biscuit here, isn't he? Because if he didn't get inside that top 10, then it's kind of just... Oh, perhaps he's just saving those soft tires.
Something interesting I'm seeing here right now is there's some slipstreaming going on. So Jagu, Daisy, and the Zaken are all on the hot lap now, and they're all behind each other on that main straight. So potentially a slight bit of a gain for Daisy and the Zaken here. If they... Oh, when the Daisy invalidates, that's another one down.
Another one bites the dust.
Another one bites the inside of the corner a bit too much.
Let's see if Fox can improve on his time. He goes up only to P13, just a little bit behind his teammate. So, Mabson up for another lap, 43% battery. That might be a bit tough. And now the other drivers are starting to pull some flying laps in. What about Jagu? I'm trying to see who has the fastest.
Jagu just backed out of his lap.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's going to try again, but yeah, he's backed out of this one.
His
Potentially
teammate
slowing down to let a Daisy get closer again. Maybe those guys are actually going for a second attempt for Slipstream. But they're letting a Zaken pass now. A Zaken definitely on a hot lap. Oh, also invalidated. Wow.
Yeah, they have. A lot of people have invalidated. I'm just trying to see the Ferrari driver currently at the moment. He's got a bit of traffic up ahead, but that's it easy. We won't even get into his way. This Ferrari...
Into the pits now. And Daisy and Jagu are going for that second attempt now.
Ferrari go up into P6. Fastest man again on the track, shaving more of the time. First, second, and second sector are purples for the edge. He's absolutely owning this track here in Mexico at the moment. I'm not sure what sort of food he ate down there in the Mexican street market, but whatever it is, it's spicy, it's hot, and it's got some power. And the Alpine's powered by... This is going to be even quicker again. That's us 13.
Wow. Well, 113. Okay, that is very impressive.
Yeah.
6/10 up on everybody else so far. I'm
A,
honestly not sure if anybody's going to be able to do anything against that.
yeah, I don't know. What about
Galileo's still on track, so he might have something in hand, but that is a lot of time to gain.
I'm not seeing any massive gains here at the moment from other drivers of purples or stuff, but Hooden obviously is improving. He could be looking at a second row here, get ahead, maybe a Jagu. Up he does, so he gets ahead of Galileo and gets up the P2 position, but we still have more time coming at the moment. Galileo's going to respond to this one.
Galileo, he just invalidated his lap in the SS.
Jagu then.
It's
Jagu.
really easy to get those penalties.
Jagu's gone off.
Yeah, he's around. He's around in that last section.
And he
pushing a bit too hard.
He had the fastest middle sector as well.
And a Daisy also with an invalidated lap goes into the pits now, so a lot of people getting their laps invalidated. I'm expecting a lot of time penalties in the race. If they keep driving like this, they're going to get a ton of time penalties.
Absolutely, mate. They do get them. I've seen that. Lots of time penalties come in thick and fast. Lofty won't improve on his time, and I have to say that may very well be your qualifying and done here in Mexico.
Yeah, and you have to consider the mediums and the hards. They're just going to make it easier to get it wrong in the S's and just go off track for the slightest sliver of time, but that's already a warning for you. So, yeah, it should be a lot of penalties once these guys go into the colder tires.
Yeah, on average around here, I see most people averaging about 6 seconds of penalties during a race. That's an average. So, well, Edge needs to get up the road there. So, if you like to go through those results in a second, I got to get myself a drink to cool down here in Mexico because it's certainly going to heat up.
Yeah, it's definitely been a hot qualifying session. We have Edge still in that P1 by an impressive 5.5 tenths. So 113.9 for Edge here. Then we've got Hudem in P2. We've got Galileo taking that P3 as a reserve driver. We have Loff in the Aston Martin now. Still very impressive in P4. Jagu P5, the other Mercedes with a Daisy taking P6. Then it's the two Ferraris of Sachinidis and Giannis. We've seen some support for the RCC crew in the chat. Then it's Azeken for Aston Martin as well, championship leader. Probably not too happy about this qualifying session. He's had an invalidated lap, could have probably done better. And we have R Gamer in P10. Only one on the mediums, Fox in P14. And then three people who didn't even manage to set a time. They've just retired. So Wizo, I think, was intentional. He's retired in the pits, but yeah, Aceboy and Crystal is definitely two of the big ones hitting a wall. It can be quite the difficult track. There's some sections where you can just get it wrong at very high speed, and you'll just go off into a wall. So that's what Crystal experienced earlier.
Yes. Don't poor Crystal. Don't remind him about that one. Actually, it's the wall hit him. Remember, that's the rules. That's how that situation occurs. As we get ready for the actual race there, the chat is all still blowing up there with all sorts of information that's going on. Cash me in the outside. Memo is pronounced memo. I didn't get the memo on that one. My apologies. Memo said he hates how I just gave an idea for Chief. What idea did I give for Chief? So we were waiting for these gladiators to load in. The weather forecast looks absolutely fantastic. I was almost going to... I didn't want to do that. Sorry. No.
Oh, should I talk about the track now? Yes. I said earlier, I have a few things to say about this track, and not all of them are nice. I've had some very bad races here before. I'm hoping that these guys here won't have a bad race today. I'm hoping for some very clean racing. But yeah, it is very tight, especially in that corner 1, 2, 3 combination, and then also at the in the last sector. It's very tight. So yeah, have to be very careful around other cars here, or you're gonna see the side of the different car from a bit too closely.
Formation lap is underway here in Mexico, and yes, perfect conditions there. Weather forecast, first and only last time I'll probably show you that one, because at the moment it doesn't look like anything's going to change there about it. 3 to 4% chance of rain. So unless you get out there and do a rain dance, I doubt we're going to see any of that today.
I could do one, but then I couldn't be commentating, so... And, you know, the commentary booth, we don't have that much space here. Wouldn't probably be too effective, so...
We got air conditioning.
That's for just a slight drizzle.
I bet you they need air conditioning in those cars because it's going to get hot and sweaty, isn't it? So Edge from Hoodlum, Galileo, Luff, Jagu, Adizi. You got both the Ferrari 7th and 8th there. Our championship leader and currently P9. And then Art Gamer running at your top 10. And outside that, you can just see some of those drivers. What about Foxy's in the hard tires? That's an interesting call.
Yeah, he's taking that very long first stint, probably hoping for a late safety car that he can take advantage of. I think the hards can last for very long. I see that the game is suggesting a two-stop strategy to you, but I'm not that convinced about that. I think these guys are still going to try to go for the one-stop, even though the hards really aren't the best tire on this track. They're not nice to drive from what I know.
Yeah, unfortunately, powered by AWS. Works in the real F1 world, but not in the virtual one. I think pretty much everybody at this point knows that most of the time that that suggested strategy is not what anybody will actually use.
We do see another tall guy. I think he's managed to finally join the lobby a bit late. We do have him sitting here in P18 on the grid right now. Doesn't get to warm up his tires, but at least he can do the race, I guess. Could have almost been a missed race for him.
Well, and also at last place, you don't really have to worry too much about being overtaken by anybody, do you, in cold tires? So he could just sit with it. Medium tire strategy, obviously go a little bit deeper into the race. Let's have a look quickly, just really briefly, to get an idea of how much of the tire that Edge used during his qualifying performance. And they are 7% right now all around on all the tires. So that's what he's going to be starting the race with. And you know what happens when you start the race, my friend? You call it.
Yeah, and we're now getting ready. Everybody's lining up to start the race. Almost ready to get those lights on. Starting to rev their engines, getting ready to get that race start just perfect. And there's a slight delay here as another tall guy sadly loses the connection.
Well, his car's reversing around there at the moment. Exactly, trying to park that up there. Come on, there.
Oh, yeah, it's just driving around a bit.
Oh, no.
Huh.
Oh,
taking an adventure
no.
Here.
We might have a bit of an issue here. And if we do, well, we need to, obviously, we don't have any issues because the top 10 are in all soft tires, so.
Right, we'll just have a quick look at what we can do here. I'll just grab a screenshot of the tire strategy just to make
Oh, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the top 10 are over the softs anyway. Everybody else can choose other tires regardless. I think that's fair anyway. They had the free choice of tires. Nobody inside the top 10 has changed, so unless I think what happened because we had that very late joiner of a drive that joined, and that can unfortunately break the lobby. You have seen that. Well, it's better than the old the D word that we don't use anymore that we had issues with, of course, last year. We never know what's going to happen. Maybe the driver that did join recently can just leave the session. I don't know if that's going to fix it or not. It's worth a shot.
I'm being told here in chat that there might be a chance that it's fine if he finishes his formation lap, if that's what he's doing right now. Well, if that's what his AI is doing right now, so...
All right, hopefully. Fingers crossed is all we can do. Those cars would definitely be overheated right now on the grid if they were the real F1. Thankfully.
No, I think we'll have to restart this.
Ah, yes it is. It's gone back around. There it is. So we will actually go to the studio screen. Apologies about that, guys. It's just the way it's going to roll currently at the moment. As we're going
right, that is not the race victory to another tall guy, despite him being the only one to actually start the race. We'll get those technical issues sorted real quick, and then we'll be right back for you.
Yes, exactly. We'll go back to the starting soon screen because I don't actually have I don't think I've actually got an intermission screen, sadly. Sorry about that one. Yeah, starting soon again. We're back in just a minute. Apologies.
1, 2, 3, you put your eyes on me. 5, 5, 6, and my feelings are mixed. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the signs. 10, kiss me in the rain. 1, 2, 3, you're too blind to see. 4, 5, 6, 8, I'm taking the rest. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the line. 10, kiss me in the rain. Children, we're just children. Children, play with me, I'll play with you. I just want us to be true. Tell me that you love me too. Or just give me a clue. Give me a clue. We're just children. We're just children. Children, children. One, two, three, you put your eyes on me. 4, 5, 6, and my feelings are mixed. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the signs. 10, kiss me in the rain. 1, 2, 3, you're too blind to see. 4, 5, 6, 8, I'm taking the rest. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the line. 10, kiss me in the rain. Children, we're just children. Children, we're just children. Play with me, I'll play with you. I just want us to be true. Tell me that you love me too. Or just give me a clue. Give me a clue. We're just children. We're just children. Children, children. 2, 3, you put your eyes on me. 4, 5, 6, and my feelings are mixed. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the signs. 10, kiss me in the rain. 1, 2, 3, you're too blind to see. 4, 5, 6, that I'm taking the risk. 7, 8, 9, I just follow the line. 10, kiss me in the rain. Children, we're just children. Children, we're just children. Play with me, I'll play with you. I just want us to be true. Tell me that you love me too. Or just give me a clue. Give me a clue. We're just children. We're just children. Children, children.
Well, we're back, everybody, and we're getting ready for a lobby restart. Apologize about that. We all know this game, how it's been lately. And got drivers out there, load your setups. Please remember, a lobby restart, you're not going to have the same setup that you had before.
Yeah, make sure you get your setups in. You don't want to be driving Mexico with the default setup. And make sure you get the correct tires as well. Please do be fair to everybody here, because otherwise we're going to have to restart this lobby a few more times.
Exactly. So they are letting everybody know on the chat, Discord chat, of course. If you're not the Discord chat, where you need to be a Discord chat, all the links are there.
Yeah, but we're getting ready to race again. Everybody's starting to get loaded in. We'll have another formation lap real quick. So a second chance to get your tires to the right temperature now. Hopefully another tall guy will be able to do a formation lap now as well. Hope we're not going to encounter any more issues. But yeah, we should be good to go now and ready for the race. I've heard rumors that the weather today in Mexico is going to stay dry despite technical issues. There's not going to be any sprinklers today.
No.
Haven't installed them.
Well, I had the weather forecasts, obviously, and, well, the live weather forecasts, I'll still show you that, actually, at the moment. No, I can't, actually, but we're on our screen now. There it is. It was set to be dry. I told you, I think I said at the start, it was 3% chance of rain. So I think we're pretty much going to stick with that. There would be, if it was around 45% chance of rain or something like that, maybe in the future of the race, then we probably would have kept it dynamic. But in this case, it's definitely going to be a dry race. So nothing for people need to ever worry about that. Thank you very much, Ocean Chief, for Eversnacks and myself. Well, Eversnacks had to do all the hard work there of reconfiguring, resetting up all the lobby. I'm just sitting here keeping it entertained.
That was a very, very good stop still. Alright, we're ready to go, I think, and onto formation lap we go again.
Good call, exactly.
Edge is leading us away again. We'll just go through the grid again real quick. We've got Edge, Hudim, Galileo, Loth, Jagu, Daisy, then Sachinidas and Janis, our RCC guys, Azaken and our gamer in the top 10. Behind that, we've got Nebulatic, Joel, Larson, Fox, Ace Boy, Crystals, and Wezo. And then now in P18, actually driving the formation lab, we have another tall guy. He's solved his issues, it seems. And then we've got a new driver, actually, Jozo has now managed to join the session as well, and hopefully collect some more points for his championship charge this season.
Good 19-car grid here for the Tier 2 Mexico. And once again, we've seen a couple of drivers go to those hard tires and onto the mediums. Well, outside the top 10, I believe, you know, they could choose any tires they wanted, just like the real world. It's kind of a surprise because you don't know until the blankets come off. But obviously, what we do know is the top 10 Gladiators have to start on the soft tires because that's the tires that they qualified in the top 10, and they've all done the right thing, so no penalties need to be applied.
Yeah, so we do have Nebulatic and Fox on the hard tires. Nebulatic in P11. Taking a bit of a gamble there. Should be interesting for the race, though. He's right behind all those soft runners, and actually in front of 2 soft runners as well. Quite in the soft sandwich there. Or maybe it's a soft serve taco, actually. Soft shell taco.
It could be, exactly.
Mexico here.
Oh, love it.
But yeah, should be interesting for Nebulatic.
Yeah, he's got to get the job done, doesn't he? He's really got to get temperature in his tires because he's going to have Joel being Lawson, and then those slouches right behind him,
absolutely
ready to pounce on him, and then you got a little bit back. Fox is going to be in trouble too, obviously, from Ace Boy Crystals and behind, so we'll keep an eye on that. But obviously, what we do have to keep an eye on and see whether or not Hoodlum and Galileo can do something about Edge after his brilliant qualifying.
I'm seeing Hoodlum jump around a bit, and I don't like it.
That happens. It's fine. It's fine.
All right, let's just assume that everything's gonna work right now, and we'll have a wonderful and clean race start here. I said it before, turn 1 here and turn 2 and 3 as well are very tight here, pretty tight chicane. So it should be interesting for the race start. Those guys are gonna have to be very careful if they don't want to crash. But yeah, we're ready. Everybody's lined up, and we're about to go. So 1 light, 2, 3, 4, 5. And off we go into the race. Pretty good start from Edge. That was looking very clean. Behind them, Loth and P4 actually getting a very good start. A few position changes further back. I think Crystal's dropping down a few positions. But further out in front, we've got Hoodem far behind already, despite the wind shadow. That's not the word. Anyway, he's right behind Edge, but yeah, just losing out at that race start. Loth actually losing positions in that very tight section, turn 1, 2, 3. I already said it's very tight there. You can lose and gain a lot of positions there. But yeah, he's battling with those other guys now. Gian has taken a position from a Daisy, so up into P7 now for him. Both the Ferraris actually getting very good race starts. Sachinides in 5 and Jen is now in 6. Still fighting for position here in the Sadian section. But the other Aston Martin P8 Azaken, our championship leader, actually moving up, or at least trying to, fighting here against the Daisy, while out in front. Oh, and that's a spin!
It's Galileo.
He's lost Galileo, he's spun.
Yep.
Oh, and another guy as well. Ace Boy just hit a wall there, his wing's off.
Yeah, Galileo unfortunately has had a bit of a spin, gone into another orbit, lost the orbit, I have to say, there from Earth. So he could be in a bit of trouble, but it's only early days. Lap 1 of 36 is going to make their way around. Final couple of corners for the first time this evening here. 8 positions gained there from Wezo. That's pretty impressive to say for the McLaren driver, as well as...
Put in now with very strong slipstream here, down this extremely long straight, so he should be gaining a slight bit on Edge. Of course, no DRS enabled yet, but yeah, he's very tight on the back of Edge, so he's managed to recover from that pretty bad way start, but now getting back onto the chase for P1.
Our gamer making a run here on Nabelic. I think he has got the job done through there. So very good job there. Weezer up now 8 positions. Fantastic. But yeah, Jago's putting a bit of pressure on.
Fantastic start.
You're right, yeah. Further back there, Loft. I'm not quite sure who to go on board with because
Loft
is pretty...
diving on
there
Ferrari.
it is.
Oh, and he spun. Ah, that was a bit too much of a dive there, I think. A bit too much risk he's taking. Oh, and he's going across the track and everything.
Yeah, he's going to drop 10 positions currently at the moment, but still in this race. I don't think he got any major damage.
So Galileo further back actually didn't have any damage from that spin. However, Crystals and Ace Boy both had damage from them. Oh, and Wizzo actually going down the order now. Yeah, he's off track. And he's lost his wing as well.
After such a great start to the race, didn't it? Sorry, I'm trying to catch that car right now, the McLaren. There it is. So after such a great start, he's just dropped back left, right, and center like a Bitcoin.
Out in front, we now have Edge very much pulling away from Hoodem, so he's actually turned up the heat now. Despite the track already being so hot here today, now Jagu's on the back of Hoodem instead, so those two are going to be fighting it out, which means it's going to be even easier for Edge to pull away out in front. Actually, seems like Edge got a pretty good setup for the straights here. He's just pulling away.
Yeah, for now he's broken the DRS, but Jagu's the one that's putting a lot of pressure on the hood. as those position gainers and losers. I'm going to switch that back over to the tyres now so you can kind of get an idea of how that's panned out there. We've lost Wezo from the session. I think he's retired in the pits. Just a little bit too soon, mate. It's early days in this race. Anything can happen.
Yeah. But in Mexico, you can always hope for a safety car at some point. You can pretty easily gain a lot of positions back if you get lucky. We have a bit of a fight here between the two Red Bulls for the last points position. We've got Joel on those soft tires that should be working a lot better than Fox's hard tires. And we already have the first time penalty here as well. Jozo getting a penalty.
Yeah, I'm starting to see practically one warning for most of the grid already. But I tell you what, if Fox doesn't allow Joel through, he's got a bit of pressure from Loft behind there in P12. So team orders at play, they need to happen because Fox is on a different strategy, remember, to Joel. Joel is on the soft tires. And, well...
Oh, we're actually seeing some bumping here, I think. Loft just pushing Joel along. He really wants to get him to get a move on. We do, of course, have the DRS enabled now, so Jago gaining on Hoodim here for P2. That could be a very interesting fight as well. And we also have a fight for P4, 5, and 6, with Sachinides being the one dragging this train along.
Yeah, I think there's going to be an easy peasy pass there between... Oh, no, it's not. Nibalik actually getting past Joel. And Fox still remaining in that position there in P9. So whatever the strategy is, but we'll go back up to this action that's happening here between both of the Ferraris. And Adizi's a part of this party, and I'll go on board with Adizi so I keep an eye on the safety car.
Full safety car.
Yep.
Jozo's crashed.
I think we can see from Ace Boy, where is it? There it is, right there.
It's the last section of the track, yeah. We've seen that happen in qualifying as well. I think it was actually Ace Boy who's just driving past here now. I think Ace Boy is the one who crashed there in the qualifying session.
So what do you do currently at the moment if you're Edge on board there? There's the tyre graphic. He's on 20% tyres.
Yeah, those softs, they really just don't go far, but he can't really pit yet. So the hards are not going to make it till the end of the race if he pits now. He would have to switch to a two-stop, and that's a bit of a risk on this track. Yeah, it should be interesting to see what everybody does now. I'm expecting at least somebody on those softs.
Is he going to come in? He's coming in. No,
oh,
he's dummied
it.
He's dummied it. So what else is anybody else?
Doing the opposite though.
Yeah.
And Jagu as well. Jan is staying out, the other Ferrari's pulling into the pits, so they're not double stacking here. Mercedes is double stacking with Jagu and the Daisy. So lots of these soft runners actually pulling into the pits. We're seeing a bit of a mix of strategies though. So Hoodim on the mediums now. Jagu actually went for the hards. Yeah, so a lot of mediums here. So I think the strategy for those guys is now soft, medium, medium. They're gonna have to pit again for sure. I wonder how long the hards are gonna make it into the race. We also have Fox and Nebulatic gaining a lot from the safety car because they're now in P3 and 4. And they still have a few of the slower drivers behind them. So Joel and Loff and Larson, those guys who they've been holding behind them for the start of the race, they're going to be pushing to overtake, but they're not a lot faster than these guys on the hards. So they have a bit of a buffer back to Hoodim and Jagu and Ezek and the fast guys behind there.
Yeah, and just to give you an idea of the tyres on the hards, currently at the moment, as you can see from that fantastic tyre performance graphic that we have, it is a guesstimate, but the guesstimate for the Red Bull driver of Fox is showing that he's about 17% on his front left. So not a problem whatsoever.
That would be a lot of wear already. So even the hard's not lasting that long on this track then, potentially.
Good point, exactly. I can't show you the medium runners because they've all boxed. Only down to P16. Another tall guy has gone to medium strategy, so he's going to be expected to box again, as well as P17 of Ace Boy. And I've showed you those position gainers. Yep.
I'm assuming that another tall guy took a lot of life out of those tires at the race start, so he's just putting some fresh tires on, some fresh boots on his car, to make sure he can push as much as possible at the restart. And he didn't lose much Oh, and Crystal? Crystal's out. What? Huh?
Has he lost it in the same area underneath the grandstand?
He's lost it in exactly the same place under the safety car. Oh no, Crystal. Crystal, what are you doing? Fede, come on. You can't do that. Well, at least... Oh, and another tall guy is actually pulling into the pits now that we've talked about his tire strategy. He's going on to the hards, so changing his mind there.
So how's this going to pan out for those drivers that elected to stay out? That's going to be the interesting thing, because right now, if you do go on board with Edge, And that tyre performance graphic as he's tucked up behind the safety car indicates that he's on 27% front left tyre. Crystal's apparently had damage that somebody was reporting before, meaning in the chat, and I do apologize, I haven't read through the chat.
Yeah, he's had some issue at the race start, so he might have had more than just a broken wing. And then it would make sense why he would spin out so easily, but maybe he just wasn't used to those colder medium tires.
Okay, yeah.
We do it. I think it's going to help the soft runners at least a slight bit that they're going to cool down a bit under a safety car, because you don't want those tires overheating too much. I think especially the softs get pretty hot if you just drive laps, so the softs might be doing a bit better now, but of course they're still quite worn. It's not the optimal strategy, I think. And they're going to lose a lot of positions once they pull into the pits. They're going to have to drive off into the distance right at the restart.
Drive off into the, perhaps into Panama or something like that, maybe across the United States border back into Texas, as Crystals wasn't very vamos, exactly. But one thing that's really interesting, if you look at the Greek driver of Gilius, if I'm pronouncing that one correctly, his tyre wear, pay attention to this, only 20% on those 6-lap softs. Now you go to Edge, the man that's leading the race, 29%. So Edge is a lot more punishing on his tyres. How's that going to... That could very much play into the Ferrari's team here.
Yeah, Edge was taking a bit of life out of those tires to pull away from Hoodem at the race start. I think that might hurt him a bit because, of course, the gap that he started to gain at the race start isn't going to help him now. The safety car equalizing everything here. So Edge not gaining any advantage from that, and actually his tires are now not looking even looking that good anymore, so Giannis might be the one to gain here. And of course, we said it in qualifying, Edge, one of those guys really quick in qualifying, but tends to lose some positions in the race. That's also in part because of strategy calls. He's elected to stay out here. We'll see if that was the right choice or a mistake at the end of the race.
I think the safety car will be in this lap, so yeah, that'll be interesting, because maybe he should have seized that opportunity to box and get rid of those tires, especially if he's a little bit more punishing on him than the other drivers. We'll see, because maybe Giannis can really just try to pounce that, knowing perhaps if his engineers are listening to the stream right now, that's the information that we've given the engineers, so kind of giving them a little bit of a helping.
Did you see what happened with Aceboy, by the way? I think he was ahead of another tall guy earlier, but yeah, safety car now coming in because everybody's lined up out behind the safety car. Should be interesting to see those strategies play out. One of the big losers here, actually, Wizzo, who decided to retire in the pits instead of staying out for a safety car. But yeah, we're getting ready for a restart. Edge is now taking the command over the speed that they're having here. Going quite slowly, getting those tires ready to go for the restart.
And he's off.
Giannis right behind him. He's sneaking up on him. So Edge definitely waiting, and now he's gone. He's caught out Giannis actually. Giannis got a lot of wheel spin there, so he wasn't ready for that. And now Fox right behind Giannis and Nebulitic right behind those two guys as well. Giannis really doesn't want to be overtaken here. The guys behind him are on hard tires, so they would hold him up a lot if he gets overtaken here. But yeah, he's holding position, going defensive, and everything stays the same out in front. Oh, actually, Nebulitic struggling a bit there with his tires. Joel and Love now on the attack behind him. Hoodem actually trying to take a position here, and we've seen our gamer losing positions. I think he spun somewhere. Nebulitic now actually losing out to somebody. Yeah, Joel taking that P4 on the soft tires. So we're seeing some slight position changes here, which is expected with the different tire strategies. I think the softs are still pretty fast so far, but they're gonna die off in a few laps.
Oh, around the outside tattoo too from from Jaguar actually on Larson. Larson's on the soft tires, so very good performance there from Sir Jaguar, of course. They're in the Mercedes on those tires, but can they come back?
Oh yeah, Locke taking the aggressive line here, taking the outside. On those softs, he can hold Nebulitic behind, and so Locke is up into P5, and it's actually allowing Nebulitic to get past as well. So Nebulitic now, he's on the outside for that last corner. That's not too good for him, but now on the straight he might be a bit faster. Actually, a lot of cars going side by side down the straight. We're seeing quite some battles here very closely. I
think at the moment that Joel's gone through there, so Fox has let him through because he's on the soft tires, so he can try to keep up to what's happening in the action at the front of the race at the moment. But yeah, still in the midfield, a lot of action going on there. There's Leptic and Jagu, tooth and nail here in Mexico.
Yeah,
Dutch, so love it. Different strategy. Go ahead.
We are seeing these these faster guys now fighting him through. We're just seeing as they can pass Nebulatic here. So those guys who just pitted for some fresh tires, they were leading the race. Apart from Edge, of course, who didn't pit yet. But yeah, Hoodem and Zaken already working their way back up, and Jagu as well, the Hearts, while some other guys are just being reached through towards the bottom of the field again. Larson losing a lot of positions here on those alt softs. He's probably struggling on those tires a bit. He's now got Sakanides right behind him as well.
Yep. The Ferrari driver's putting a little bit of pressure on the back there, but we'll go back up to Lofty because he's going to be able to make a run here. Not DRS is enabled just yet because we just had that safety car. Maybe it'll be enabled on this lap, but you won't get it down this main straight. As they're approaching the final couple of corner on lap 9. About to start lap 10. DRS is enabled. They won't get it here. We'll get it on the next part.
So Edge so far seems to be quite unable to pull away from Giannis. That might actually be, at least in part, down to the tire wear difference that you've mentioned before. So Edge's tires were looking a lot more worn, especially on the fronts. So he's going to be struggling with Vernon right now.
Yeah, Lofty's going to make a run here, I think, right now on Fox. He's got the better tire. Fox is getting slapped with that penalty as well. Edge has 45% more wear on his fronts. We'll check that out in a second. Just trying to keep an idea if Lofty's going to do something about the Fox at the moment. He's got Hood behind him. And there's those penalties coming in.
Loft is the next penalty, yeah.
Yeah, they will. Most drivers are actually on 1 or 2 warnings. We'll keep an eye on that. We're only about a third through the race, just under a third through the race. Still plenty of action to go.
We do have the DRS assistance now, so it should be quite interesting down this main straight with a lot of cars close to each other. And there's a huge DRS train down from Fox and P4 all the way down to another tall guy, Ace Boy actually, P14. But Loth definitely the one on the attack here right now. He's gaining a lot of Fox here. I think that should be quite easy pass with as much overspeed as he has. And he just breezes past. Same actually for Sakanides in P11, so he's past Larson. Larson really struggling with those old tires, I think. We're probably going to see him pit soon.
Daisy
and Nebulatic fighting it out pretty well here. That's looking wonderful.
Yep, that's looking pretty good. It's Hoodlum and Fox going at it now. So Foxy losing another place. Perhaps, we're not quite sure. We'll go aboard with, I think, Sir Jagu as we can keep an eye on this battle up ahead. As you can see there, Fox and Hood is side by side. There's a Zeke in our championship leader currently at the moment. Drivers championship leader just hanging in there in P7 at the moment as we're on board with Sir Jagu and his teammate Adesi is going to be just outside the DRS a little bit further down the road there, but different strategy call. And those penalties are going to start coming in.
The next penalty.
Fastest man on track currently at the moment through the first sector is Azekin. But however, he's got traffic.
We're definitely seeing these guys who have put it for fresh tires work their way through the field already. That's going to be really bad for Edge and Janice out in front because they're not really gaining a lot on those guys here. They were probably hoping for the traffic to hold everybody back, but yeah, it seems like those guys are pretty easily getting through the field right now, catching back up to the front, and they're going to have to make the one-stop work. I think Edge and Janice, Joel and Loff as well, they're going to be forced to go for the hearts and make the one-stop work somehow.
Battle for P6 currently at the moment. You can see the DRS activated, but the DRS is activated on both of those cars, as you can see, the Red Bull and the Aston Martin. So it's very difficult to overtake. Obviously, that DRS is not what is available for both of those gladiators out there this evening. I mean, curious just to pop up there real quick there. We'll go to Loft. How those tires are hanging out for him because they're yet to make a pit stop. They're approaching the 47% estimated mark. But what about our race leader? We knew that he was a little bit more punishing on his tires. 52% currently at the moment for Edge. What about the Ferrari behind him? 43%. So he's about 10% less on his tire wear than the race leader.
Yes,
this is going to come down to crunch time.
Jen is definitely showing his skills in tire management here, but of course he's also 1.7 seconds behind, so maybe he's just backing off a bit to let those tires. Oh, Nebulatic spun, I think. Oh, and he's done the same. He's retired. Oh, I think he retired on track. That's not too good. Let's hope this doesn't cause a safety car here. Maybe his car pulls into the pits. Doesn't seem like it. We'll have to hope that there isn't a safety car from this.
No, it's a pit lane retirement. I think. No, it's actually on the exit of the corner. You can see on the track map. There.
Yeah, he's had the same crash as the other guys have had before, Crystals and Jozo, in that last sector. But yeah, his car just stopped on the side of the track then and just was lifted away by the cranes. We're seeing Fox and Jaguar have a wonderful battle here as well.
They are absolutely fantastic. Both on the hard tires, but obviously some Jaguar's about half the tire difference between there.
Yeah, and Jaguar has, of course, also shown his pace in qualifying. He was all the way up there. So, yeah, Jaguar making pretty easy work of that. We're seeing some really good battles here in those very tight sections. I was expecting a lot more wheel banging for this race. Wonderful to see that those guys are actually racing clean and without too much contact.
I'm surprised if Edge doesn't go in the pits here. Still does not. Just trying to push those.
Galileo picks up the penalty. There's a lot of penalties now. Even Edge has a penalty if you want.
Yeah,
So
I knew that was going to happen anyway. Adesi on now on the Fox. Is he too far back? They're both going to have the DRS, of course.
Yeah, Daisy making as much use of that slipstream as he can. He's gaining very slowly here, but he's looking towards that inside, not quite deciding to go for the move. He's going to try again in the next DRS, so I'm sure. Zachinida is also time penalty now.
I would just ignore the time penalties, mate. They're going to come thick and fast at the moment. We'll worry about that later on.
We're going to have to mention a lot of time penalties if we keep doing this.
Yeah, get your calculators out, guys, because that's definitely something you have to crunch later on. A late safety car in this race with the time penalties will just basically mean anybody without a time penalty, even in 10th place, could win the race if they're bunched up. That's what tends to happen. Adesi really is a man on a mission right now. The Flying Finn.
Somebody who's not too happy with his tire strategy right now is probably Sachinides. He's stuck in traffic here and he's really having some trouble with that dirty air behind the Daisy and Fox. Those two guys in front of him, of course, are battling, which isn't going to help him at all. So Sachinides is losing a lot of time from this, especially because the cars out in front also have the DRS assistance. Oh, and now he's actually under attack. Oh, and Edge into the pits now.
Edge's boxing.
But yeah, Galileo actually on the back of Zachinidis now, so Zachinidis actually losing out quite hard here. Galileo now on attack with the DRS, should be pretty easy again. He's got a lot of overspeed, doesn't even need to deactivate his battery for this overtake.
Spicy in the midfield for sure. As Desi did get past the Fox. Fox obviously on the older tyres. Well, where does that slot the Edge back out? P14, because they're pretty much bunched up after that safety car. Pit stop here is 23 seconds, and that's why he's jumped all the way back there. But we'll have the fresh tyres. Got a lot of bit of work to do. Going straight over to the mediums. Made that one-stop strategy that kind of predicted out there. Softs to mediums, pushed them as long as he possibly can. We know that the Ferrari driver leading the race car at the moment, Gias can go a lot longer because he was about 10% less tyre wear. Actually, just curious to see what that tyre wear currently is at the moment there for the Ferrari driver. And there it is.
I think he's also struggling, to be honest. He's got to have pretty hot tires. He's been pushing them quite a bit to keep the other guys behind. He does have Hood just outside of his DRS windows. So, oh, actually, never mind. He might pull into the pits pretty soon.
Yes.
And he does.
Yep, he has to. 55%. I would have thought he would be able to do one lap more. Perhaps. Because he had some pretty good boots there, but...
I think he could have, but the softs are going to make it to the end of the race here, and he really doesn't want to do too many laps on those old soft tires. They're not going to be too quick at this point.
Well, man that's quick at the moment is our championship leader, because he's really starting to pull in the hood.
Yeah, and that's quite interesting. He started in P9, so Zaken very much profiting off that safety car, but also put him now on the... he's got to go on the defenses now because Zaken is going to have the DRS on the next straight as well, and Hoodham just had that DRS to defend there from... I think he was in the DRS window of...
yeah, he had the DRS. It was showing up there in that live Battle for P1 graphic that we have there. Courtesy of the team telemetry software, which is fantastic. So I was wondering, I was looking to go, how come he has a DRS, but he got it before?
Yeah, I think there's just one detection point for a DRS. If you get it on the one detection point, you'll get it on both DRS straights. So Hoodham getting quite lucky there to have a car out in front of him. but now it's going to be Azaken on the attack with the DRS. That's going to be hard to defend against. Azaken, of course, has shown his skills before, so going to be very hard for Udem to keep him behind.
We'll see right now. You can see that gap there. Comet closing. It's down to 6/10, 5/10 down the main straight. I'm going to pull him in a little bit here, but see the DRS activated down the Aston Martin, but no DRS, of course, available for the Alfa Romeo, but it's going to be a little bit too far back.
Oh, even
We've
that
lost
was
the Fox.
close, though. Oh, we've lost the car.
We've lost the Fox. Now I'm trying to see where the Fox is currently
I think that was
parked.
in the pit lane.
It is a pit lane retirement. You're right.
That's odd. He was doing pretty okay.
But further
It's
back
just the
down,
wrong
there's a
side,
run.
maybe.
There is a run for the leader of this race. This is Ekin here, side by side.
Oh, Hooden braking a bit later. He's keeping that inside line here for those next corners. It's not enough though. Azaken just going past here. Yeah, Azaken had a lot more battery to use up, and he also had the DRS assistance. That was going to be very hard to defend against in any case.
So down 14 drivers currently at the moment. On lap 17 of 36, so just at the halfway point bubble. It's very interesting. Some of the top guns going out early in this race, and look at that. You got Loft on a completely different tyre strategy at the moment on those soft tyres. Softs he's run, so obviously he has to go to another set of boots, but that's the strategy call that the Red Bull have decided for him this evening. His other teammate of Joel, sorry, Loft is the Aston Martin, his teammate obviously is leading this race.
Yeah, so Loft's going to have to push a lot on those softs. He really wants to get past people. On those softs, he's going to gain a lot of time here to make it worth it, because he's going to drop down a few positions at the end of the race. I'm actually interested to see if all these medium runners can make it to the end of the race, because those tires are already 12 laps old and they've still got so long to go. It's going to be tough to make them last.
The Flying Fenerbahce is looking pretty good there. He's half a second there down the road with that DRS activation. You can see on that battle graphic, battling currently for P3 there with his teammate, believe it or not. So are there any team orders at play? Jagu's obviously running the older or the harder tyre compound. Not as quick. Is he going to really hold up Badizi too much? What's team orders going there? Is Toto Wolff going to be slamming desks, throwing headphones? I'm not quite sure.
Something I think I should mention is that Giannis actually lost quite some time because of us pitting one lap later. Those old softs really weren't going too fast, and now he's stuck behind Joel with Edge pulling away even more. Oh, Ace Boy!
Yeah, you should see Ace Boy in a
Boy's
second.
out of the race. He's hit the wall in the S's.
Can't see. There he is. There's Ace Boy.
Full safety car.
Yeah, I think that.
Oh, that's gonna give a free pit stop to everybody who's on the mediums right now.
Yeah, there it is, right there. Race leader coming in. Everybody else following? Yes.
Yeah,
Jagu stayed out.
Everybody on the mediums is gonna have to. Loff as well is gonna go into the pits now. He's gonna go to the end of the race. Jagu on those hards, taking that different strategy. Yeah, he always wanted to stay out till the end of the race. Edge as well. Only 3 lap old tires. He can go to the end on those still. So now Edge, Joel, and Giannis are actually the ones going back up the order. No, they're the ones benefiting from their tire strategy here. But of course, Azaek and Hudim, those two guys are going to be very happy about that safety car.
Yeah, it's played out brilliantly, hasn't it, for the Alpine driver of Edge, taking that pit stop, taking those tires really deep, obviously, into the race. Those medium tires, he did 15 laps on them, as well as Hood and Giannis, the Greek driver. He pushed 16. We knew he was a little bit kinder on his tires. 17 laps were pushed on those soft tires for Mr. Larson.
I think the one who's going to be kicking himself right now is going to be Jagu for going on those hards. He's going to be on old, hard tires at this restart. I think he's going to be swarmed by the other drivers. I think they're just going to drop him down. Because I'm pretty sure that everybody, maybe except for a Daisy, not too sure there, can go to the end of the race. Loff actually on the hards now. I'm not sure why he chose to not go for the mediums. But yeah, Daisy on those softs, he's gonna have to make the tires last. We do already almost have everybody lined up, so it should be only one more lap of safety car and we're back into the race here again. But yeah, this is definitely a race for strategy. the best strategists, or potentially even the luckiest drivers, are the ones benefiting here in this race.
So a 16 lap sprint, perhaps 16 or so, 15. There's your penalty information currently at the moment. So every single driver apart from Zeke is on 5 seconds. Now Zeke has to serve that 5 second if he boxes again.
Yeah, that's a shame for Zeke for sure. He was doing really good until he got that 5 second penalty in the pits right there. But if he can get a good restart, and if he can get past Edge especially, that's going to be his main task at the restart, then I think he might be able to pull away far enough, because everybody else, as you said, also has penalties except for Jagu out in front and a Daisy. A Daisy's going to be interesting to watch on the softs.
Daisy's absolutely quick. There's our current leader at the moment, Sir Jagu, and that's the tyres that he's on. He's on hard tyres, and I'll flip through that there because his position gains. He's gained 4 so far in this race. But 14 laps on those tyres might be very much a sitting target. But 37%. So definitely has to look at taking them to the end of the race.
Giannis? Oh, Giannis managed to spin in the S's. Oh no. Ah, that's a lot of positions lost there for him. And he's collided with another tall guy as well. Ah, that's really not what he wanted there. Yeah, so we have a lot of quick drivers here actually spinning under a safety car. I think that's the 3rd time this race. Anyway, we're back.
Yeah, let's go. Racing.
Back into the race now. Jagu leading the field this time with Edge behind him. So Edge has the... Oh, Edge almost spinning there as he gets on the throttle. So almost caught out by Jagu there. We're seeing some position changes actually already. We've got Hoodem right behind his egg, and Hoodem using all of his battery to try and get past here. Daisy really benefiting here, but Sahinid is going back past him on the straight now. Daisy actually losing positions really hard here. Everybody's next to each other. Daisy probably lost a bit too much time in that last corner and just wasn't fast enough in the straight. Jagu keeping that lead for now on those hard tires. But yeah, Daisy really losing out. He really wanted to gain some positions with those fresh soft tires. Talking about fresh... Oh, and Tudem's almost spinning as well. Yeah, those guys really battling closely. Tudem and Azek really going for it. Those two guys. We're going to see them fighting until the end of the race, I think.
Yeah, we will, but I think Adeezy's going to try to take advantage of these tyres currently at the moment, isn't he? Because he's the only man on the track right now with the softs, apart from the other 2 drivers currently running in P12 and P13. And
he's almost pushing Joel around here. He's gone around him, and off he goes. And now Galileo is going to be the next one to attack Joel, actually going for a bit of a dive here, but Joel just braking late enough to keep that position.
Yeah, no DRS is enabled just yet. Sorry, go ahead.
Something I was going to say is Giannis and Larson actually pitted for soft tires, so Giannis spinning under the safety car there. Larson, I'm not sure, there must have been something happening with his car as well. But we'll go back to that battle here out in front. I think Edge is chasing after Jagu, trying to go for that position. But actually, it's really close for P7 and 8. We've got Galileo right behind Joel here. Galileo right next to him, and he's going for that dive. He's trying to take the inside line. Joel braking late again. Joel braking the latest here today.
Lots of late
really
breakers.
From him.
Galileo there from Joel. It's battles all over the track at the moment. Currently, we're looking at it where these cars are on track. They're about 3.2 or 3 or so off Jagu's current time. Jagu's still doing a solid job at the moment, keeping Edge behind there on the older tyres. But remember, no DRS is enabled just yet. So once that starts to kick into gear and you get that 17 km/h advantage with the letterbox being open in the back of the car, that's where things are going to switcheroo. Adedzi's going to be looking at making another overtake here soon on the tyres. And keep an eye out for the Flying Finn, because that man has also got absolutely no penalties next to his name. We know that's going to come into play a little bit later into this race.
Yeah, and he's on those soft tires, so we should expect him to have a lot more grip than anybody else on the track right now. Well, maybe not Janice and Larson, but they're pretty far behind right now, so it's going to be a Daisy. Ooh, taking the inside on Sachinidis there out of the last corner. That's interesting. And he's just gone past already. That looked so easy from him there, but yeah, wonderful move. But now Sachinidis with the slipstream, and he's going to have a chance to get back at it.
Yeah, meanwhile at the front there, it could be a change as well too, so I'm sure that's going to happen there between those two drivers, but and that's it. Jagu's tyres might start to be falling off the cliff right now. Edge going through. I know Edge was qualifying performance was brilliant, and now he's back into lead of this race where he wanted to be. However, he's got those penalties, but don't worry about that just yet. We still have plenty of motor racing to go here. And our championship leader is also going to size up Sir Jagu anytime soon. He's like, you might be noted, my friend, but I'm a quicker car. Well, I have better tires.
So Jagu right there, you can pretty much see that he's not quite able to brake as late as the other guys on the fresh mediums. So that's what lost him that position into turn 1 and left him pretty much unable to get the position back as well. And it's going to be a benefit for a Daisy's. Oh, and hits the back of Hudem. Hudem getting out of shape there at the end of the S's, and Zacharias couldn't, well, no, it's actually a Daisy. A Daisy couldn't have done anything there. He was just not expecting that. So just ran into the back of Hudem. We have to hope that he doesn't have too much damage from
He does have damage. He does have damage. I'll show that currently at the moment there on that graphic. He's got 13%. But he didn't box, but 13% front left wing damage. You can see that on the screen. It's not a lot. It's a lime green damage, but around Mexico, I don't know.
Shame for him, though. Oh, Azaken going for a P2 now. Jagu is going to be defending again on the outside again, and that line didn't work for you before. Azaken taking that outside. He's not going to back out. There's a lot of wheel banging out. Oh, and Azaken really struggling there, and now it's going to give Hudem the chance to go past. Hudem and Azaken, those two guys have been battling for pretty much the whole race now, and both of them deploying their battery, keeping their positions as they are for now. But yeah, very close between those two guys. And Zacharias now, a Daisy now behind them, really struggling with that wing damage. I think he would have had a chance to overtake there if he hadn't gotten the damage.
It's interesting right now. What does the Finn do? Does he box with that damage, or does he commit to the rest of the race knowing he's going to be a little bit slower? But he's also got the better tyre, so perhaps that could offset itself a little bit. And one advantage, obviously, that he does have is he doesn't have those penalties, so he could snatch up a lot of these places later.
A lot of time.
Yeah, he's going to
I think he's just losing too much time in those S's, especially with a DRS zone right behind those. He's going to be losing a lot of time there, so he might actually go for a pit stop.
You'd have to do it now. You can't wait too much longer now.
And he does pull into the pits, yeah, so that damage is just too much to handle. He's noticed that he can't do those S's with the damage. Daisy's going to be really mad at this. He had a really good chance to...
So Jago about to lose another one. About to lose another sitting target there. Simply because of the tires.
It gets stick this time. And Azaken is going to have the DRS as well on the next straight, so he's going to pull away from Jago now. Those old tires are just not working anymore.
Yeah, let's have a look at those tires currently at the moment. 50% front left, and he's got 10 laps to do on them. You can't, it's not going to work. Yeah, I think right now, isn't it? You've got a box, but if you think about that, where's he going to box? Gap to leader currently at the moment. 23-second pit stop. He's going to be behind our gamer. So, and ahead of a Desi. So that's where he can slot up. But obviously, he's going to have to do it soon, because a Desi, you look at that, that's 30 seconds. If the Desi's on fresh boots, we know a Desi has the pace. So if Desi starts shaving 1 or 2 seconds every lap, which he will, if I was Jagu, you want to make sure you get a pit stop soon so you can clear the air to a Desi with the fresh boots and get on with it. Otherwise, you don't want to be stuck behind.
Oh, Edge going very wide here. Oh, that's going to allow Azaken to get a chance here. Yeah, Edge going way too wide in that section there. And now Azaken's right on the back of him, and he's got the DRS assistance as well. And Jago behind both of them is also pushing to take a position here. Edge doesn't have a lot of battery left, so Azaken does have a pretty easy attack here. And Edge does have to slot in behind, so Edge losing a position now. Azaken is up into P1.
And Joel in the background there too, with Sadeas, as it's all starting to spice up. That's the gap to leader. I'm going to show the gap, obviously, back to interval gap again, because I was just giving you guys an idea about where those drivers are going to slot back in if they do happen to box right now. Hooden also in the back there, Galileo making a run. There's runs everywhere, left, right, and center. Only one camera angle. As you can see, hoodlum on Jagu. Jagu's a sitting target right now. Those tires are just absolutely baked. They're cooked.
Yeah, Loft was also looking to make a move there on Zacharias as well. So Zacharias almost losing 3 positions in the space of 2 straights. That DRS assistance is really bad if you don't have it and everybody else behind you does. Because it's one very long straight and then there's a second straight with the same DRS detection point. That makes a huge difference. If you're on the front of the DRS train, there's a potential to lose a lot of positions there. But yeah, as you said now. Oh, safety car! Another tall guy! Crashed.
Oh, Jagu's got a box, doesn't he? This is a free pit stop for this man.
Yeah.
He's got to jump in here right now. They're all going to jump in. Yes, they are. Edge goes in. He stays out? He stays out? Did he not get the call from the team? Is Toto? Oh, Toto Wolff has just slammed the desk. Toto has smashed the desk. The Mercedes garage.
Who gets the penalty?
What
5
is
seconds.
going on? Why would you do
that's
that?
a weird one. Oh, and the Zaken is serving his 5-second penalty now as well.
Very interesting. Yeah, of course you get that done now. Adesi just boxed, so now Adesi can get past a lot of these guys. They're all coming out the pit lane right now. Can Adesi get the power on it? And no, he won't. He'll catch a couple of people off here.
Yeah, he's too far behind. He's lost too much time from that. But yeah, he's going to at least have a chance to get back at the others.
Yeah, I mean...
he's right behind the Zaken now, so...
Yeah, I mean...
He's going to be battling it out.
Oh,
and Zachinidis spins!
Yeah, there he is right up ahead. I'm on board with Adesi. He's on the middle of the track too.
How did he do that?
I didn't see any massive damage. It just looked like he was
He must have just... Maybe he was trying to warm his tires or just locked up the rears or something. That's a very, very weird spot to be losing control of your car. So yeah, down to 11 drivers now. So many retirements, and especially so many under a safety car. It's the third retirement under a safety car now.
Yeah, we don't know how he died out there, Icewood, exactly. I mean, it just looked like his car was parked in the middle of the road. Like, I mean, that didn't... There's not a major amount of error, walls he could hit there. I remember we were on a safety car, so he was obviously flat out trying to get back out there as quickly as possible. But I'm just interested to see this man right now, the Mercedes. Why did he not box? Because look at his tires, 56%. Now, obviously, they're not like the softs or the mediums where they wear 1 or 2% easily per lap. But now he's going to have to take these tires to the end because he stayed out. If he boxes now, look at the gap. He's going to just tumble to the bottom. He's not going to. He has to, yeah. Gap to leader, look. He'll come out and peek behind Art Gamer.
That is really weird.
So he's committed.
Jagu now with 22 lap old tires. He's committed to his strategy. At the start of the race, when there was the first safety car, he decided, I'm going for the hards and I'm keeping them. Yeah, he's gonna have to do a lot of work defending here, especially with Edge and Hoodim. Those two really fast guys on the softs. They only have to get past Galileo at the restart, and then Jagu is pretty much just some breakfast for them. It's gonna be so easy to overtake.
Some fresh tacos and burritos, perhaps, exactly, here in Mexico in the evening. You look at Galileo's tires, and they're currently at the moment, as the estimate's up there on the screen there, it's 23% to say on those medium tires, but we all know, the best tires you possibly can have on the planet would be those fresh softs, because look at that. It's all green, 4% wear for the Edge. I think this is Edge's race to win for sure here. But those penalties are going to come into play, which I'll definitely show you right now, and that's the problem right there for the Edge. He's got 8 seconds.
Zaken and Daisy are going to be the two guys here hoping for a race win on penalties. I think they'll be able to overtake Joel, and then they just have to stick to the other guys in order to get their free podium position.
This is what I called at the start of the race. I do too many of these. Safety car in this race. I do too many of these. That's the problem. That I know.
Safety car in the stop, by the way.
I know that the problem is when these penalties start stacking up, and you get to the ending, the dying stages of the race, that this could very still much be a Zaken and a Desi's. A Desi might be very upset. I heard somewhere in the chat he was mad, but a Desi could be looking for a podium here. So it ain't over yet. That's why you commit. Let's go.
Jago going very slowly here. Galileo's
hit the wall.
What was that?
Was he trying to go on the pit lane? I'm not quite sure.
Into the pits.
Anyway.
Jago waiting till the line to go. Oh, Edge is caught out a bit here. Hoodim was ready to go. Put him on the offense here. Daisy and Zaken, they're trying to push past Joel here as well. Those two guys without penalties, they can get a good position here if they can overtake him. And Edge now passed Jagu already. Those fresh softs definitely much better than those hards. And he doesn't have Galileo between them as a buffer anymore. So Hoodim also passed already. Jagu already dropping down positions. Further down the back, we have our gamer and Loft starting an attack on Giannis together. Loft on those medium tires, he's going to be at a disadvantage here as well. But we have Joel right behind Jagu, so those fresh softs are just so much faster than the old hards.
Of course they are, absolutely. We all know it, don't they? They're fresh out of the blanket. Remember too, you've got less fuel in the car too. It's burnt through, so your car goes even quicker every single time. And especially as you're going down to the dying stages of this race with about 7 or 8 laps to go. That's where you're going to see Jagu's drop.
He's just getting ready to snack on Jagu on the main straight. He knows that he's a lot faster. He knows that he can get a much better run out of this last corner, and he's going to just breeze past as well.
I like
so Jagu really no chance of defending this. Joel's going to breeze past, and then it's going to be Azaken, the next one, waiting to get past. And he might actually do it on this straight as well. If he takes the inside line here, he has a chance of getting past.
He's got it. And maybe even our championship leader as well. Azaken going to get this too.
Yeah, Azaken breaking so much later than Jagu. You can really see the tire difference. Daisy, of course, hoping that Azaken doesn't get past here, because Azaken and Daisy are the ones battling also for podium positions here. Those two guys don't have penalties. But by the way, you've mentioned the penalties earlier. I've seen a really weird 5-second penalty for Loft, so I think that might get removed at the end of the race.
And Lofty's got around. You might be right, exactly. But at the moment, the drivers, you can't focus on that. You have to focus on whatever's next to your name. That's what I've always said to drivers. If you're engineering them, you don't know what's going to happen. Just play it in your mind that you will get it. If it gets removed, okay, great, it'll work out for you. But at this point, you got to go for it. One thing won't get removed generally is those 3-second corner cutting penalties, because you have 2 warnings before you get the third one. Obviously, most of the time, the drivers actually go wide to avoid a collision. Sure, that's one that you can get removed. But hey, you got 2 others. That's usually not the situation. So you got Edge leading from Hood, and look at that. So Jag, that didn't have the penalty, has got one now. So this is looking good. Azik and Adizi could win this one. It starts with A.
Yeah, and both of those guys now getting ready to get past Jagu. And one of them's passed already, so Daisy now has to get past as quickly as he possibly can, because Azaken's going to be chasing after Joel now. Joel, of course, on those fast softs, he's managed to take advantage of the safety cars for sure. But yeah, he's been a lot slower than I think Azaken and Daisy here so far, which means that I'm expecting Azaken to catch up here pretty quickly, and he's going to be there without a penalty. If he can get past Joel quickly, then that might be a race win for him.
And Daisy got it done, as to be expected.
Yeah, and I'm seeing people celebrating that already in the chat. They're just pushing a Daisy along, telling a Daisy to give everything he has. Oh, and 3 seconds for Janice as well. So a Daisy now up into P5 and chasing after Azaken, the one who's really fighting here on track today.
And there's another overtake.
Yeah. P2 right behind Edge now.
This is what I'm saying. Toto Wolff, that's the reason why Toto Wolff's upset. He's upset with his team. They didn't make the call, did they? Jagu stayed out. And you do not stay out in a race. I'm not even a race driver, but I tell you what, I've broadcasted enough to know if you're on very old tires after a safety car restart with basically a handful of laps to go on the race, you're in big, big trouble, because they just eat, well, they snack you for breakfast, don't they? Ever snacks.
Talking about getting snacked on, take a look at Edge and Hoodem in P1 and 2. Hoodem has a lot of battery left right now, and he has the DRS assistance on the next straight, so he might be able to just gain enough on Edge here to do a bit of a dive here onto the inside. He's definitely looking to the inside, not close enough yet, but he's definitely getting ready to do that overtake here, and he really needs to get past. He needs to push as far away from the Azaken and the Daisy as he can.
Yeah, sorry, I was just switched over to that late because I knew that somebody was about to take Jagu, which was arcade mode. Now, obviously, Larson's going to get past him anytime soon as well. Larson also, not to mention another driver that's not even a penalty, looking good, perhaps getting a few more positions. Gap to leader, we'll pull the one up there. That'll kind of calculate your penalty situations. I did warn you guys at the start of this, you're going to need to get a calculator out to work out the situation and have a look at that one.
We're seeing some more penalties come in as you're showing them. So yeah, lots of penalties on this track. And
look at Azaken.
Definitely one of those guys.
But look at Azaken. 3.1 is the gap to leader. Now, he's got past. He's got really Joel. He's got Joel. I mean, doesn't have to get past Joel, really, at the end of the day. Joel's got 3 seconds. Adizi's 4.1. That'll be the battle, I think, between those two gladiators. That'll be the absolute key.
Oh, Hoodem going for the move. Hoodem's taking the inside down towards turn 1, and he has the DRS on the next straight as well, so that is the move. And Azaken gets past Joel as well. That is so important for him. That was so important to stay behind Hoodem here as closely as he can. And he is within 3 seconds of Hoodem. So now Azaken on the chase for the race victory here, and the Daisy still 1.2 seconds behind Joel. He needs to catch up as quickly as he can. So our championship leader here definitely showing why he is leading this championship. He's just staying as close as possible to those other guys while not getting any penalties. Everybody else is getting them, but Azaken still staying consistent here in P3.
And on top of it, mate, he only has 1 warning. So how's that for consistency?
Yeah, absolutely. The consistent drivers are very much benefiting here in this race. You can also see it with Larson. He's probably not the quickest in this tier, but he is keeping it consistent. He's keeping that car on the track, and he's taking advantage of those safety cars. He's up into P8, and he's going to gain even more positions at the end of the race because of those penalties.
Yeah, both of those Hood and Edge are going to be dropping back like a Bitcoin exchange. So it's up to Ezekiel to win this race. Adezi's looking good, solid for a P2 position. He's just dropping out of the DRS there. So Joel, you can see it battling it out there.
Oh, Joel is attacking back now. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. They're just switching back on each other a few times. And Joel has the DRS on the next straight as well, so he's going to keep attacking Ezekiel. And the Daisy's going to be super happy about that because he's going to get the DRS again.
Yeah, he will. That battle's actually helping him right now.
And Hoodham gets another penalty. Oh, he really couldn't afford that. Hoodham pushing too hard there. He couldn't afford that penalty.
Yeah, Hoody's going for that Rolex time penalty award, of course, at the moment. He has the most with 11 seconds. But this is the battle, I think. It really is between P4 and P5 for the win of this race. Adesi knows if he wants to win this race, he has to get past that man up ahead. He has to.
Yeah, and Joel is the one being the deciding factor here right now because he's holding Ezekiel back so far that the Daisy has a chance to attack here. Of course, Ezekiel is going to have the DRS on Joel now, which might allow him to get past.
Yeah, I'm taking a bird's eye view from Adesi's point of view here on his car, so we can kind of see that. You can see Ezekiel making a good run with that DRS activation. Should be there. You can hear the beep. Well, so will Desi. He'll get that done. And that should be a pretty easy overtake, I'd have to say. Well, how much is Joel going to hold up Adesi right now to perhaps deny Adesi for a race win and allow Ezekiel just to run away with this one?
Well, Joel is not going to have the DRS for this next straight, but Adesi will, so that's his chance to overtake right there, and he has to take this chance. But it seems that he's a bit too far back. Yeah, and that's not the overtake for him that he needed, so it might just be Ezekiel winning this race now.
It's the penultimate lap of this cracking Mexico race. We've seen it all week, haven't we, between the other tiers. Perhaps tomorrow we'll see it again too for the tier 1. But
we're seeing Jaguar under attack again. Those old hearts really not working it for him. It might just be that he drops into the last point position now.
Yeah, I did think he should have really boxed there. He would have been able to make a late charge, but it's too late now.
Oh, and now Joel has the DRS on the Daisy. It might even be that Ezekiel is intentionally giving Joel the DRS here because he knows that Joel can keep a Daisy behind if he has the DRS. So Daisy is really going to be having a tough time to get past here. He might just get a better launch out of here. That's probably his last chance to get past. And he is gaining a bit, but it's not looking like it's enough.
It's too late, but I don't know.
Edge going for the lead of the race again. He just took the inside on Hoodham there. So the de facto lead of the race has changed actually in this last lap. We'll have to see what it does to the actual results at the end.
But they're squabbling, obviously, yeah, for lower positions after those penalties are applied. This is the key, right? Desi going to get past. It's got to be Ezekiel. Ezekiel's got this one, I think. We're on the last lap. He's too far up the road, and his biggest buffer, of course, is that Red Bull. I think Desi's going to want to try to get past him just at least on track there to get some sort of benefit. But does, you know, the calm flying Finn, does he really try to risk it for the biscuit there and perhaps get it? If you get a tangle wheel, you go around the wrong way, that's it. It's all over. Your P2 is gone. I don't know if it's worth risking at this point. He knows he's probably too far away to take it to the Aston Martin. So
well, but these guys are racers and they are going towards the DRS straight, so he might just take that chance. But no, it seems like Joel is keeping that P4 on track, and Ezekiel will be taking the lead, the victory in this race, despite Edge now going past the checkered flag and taking P1 for now. But now they're both gonna drop down, both Edge and Hoodham, with a lot of penalties. Edge down to P3, Hoodham down to P5, P6 actually, with Larson not taking any penalties. Like I said, Larson, one of those guys, really just keeping it consistent, taking those positions back at the end through the penalties. And that's the end of the race for you.
For us, Ezekiel done it. From P9 up into P1 as well as Adesi. P6 up into P2, and obviously don't take it away from Edge. Eventually still, the man that started on pole, as obviously that's the reason why from P9 to P1. That's a drive to survive right there, Netflix. And that is the reason why you are leading this championship. called everything absolutely perfect, didn't he? Made the right strategy call. Extra pit stops as well, too, from these gladiators. They had 3 pit stops, the top 2 guys, and the other 2 guys behind them only had 2. Shave that champagne, mate.
He just drove it perfectly. You can't take that away from him. He just did a perfect drive there, just keeping it extremely consistent, keeping it. But at the same time, he was extremely fast as well. We always saw him catching up to somebody, overtaking people 4 points. So definitely deserved victory today.
There are your results there. If you'd like to go through them, please.
All right, so we do have Azaken winning the race from P9. Then we have Daisy and Edge taking those podium positions. Then Joel, Larson, Hudem, and Giannis. Then we have our gamer P8, Jagu, and Luff rounding out the points positions, and Galileo, the last of the finishing cars. With a lot of retirements today. Lots of crashes, causing safety cars, under safety cars. It was carnage.
That's what you like to expect, isn't it? Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a minute for some interviews. Definitely want to hear from these drivers.
I shouldn't have said anything before the race, but yeah, I did say this track does kind of attract some crashes. But I wasn't expecting that many people to crash by themselves. Actually, some of the really quick guys just crashing out by themselves. It was kind of weird at points, actually. But that's Agnida's crash. I'm still not quite sure what happened there. Maybe we'll get him into the interview booth and
we'll find out, won't we? Let's let the drivers have a bit of a breather there for a second, bit of a stretch, hydrate. Yeah, we'll be back in just a minute for interviews. Don't go anywhere.
All right. Hello, Joel. Welcome to the commentator's booth. Let's have an interview with you. Wonderful race from you, actually. You gained a lot of positions there. You started pretty far back, but yeah, managed to just hang on to it. Did you start on those soft tires at the start of the race?
Yeah. I went soft, medium, and then soft in the final safety car, which I think almost everyone did.
So how was it for you hanging on to those mediums? I think you were on those tires for quite a while.
Not really. It's more the softs, to be honest.
Oh yeah, the softs at the start
safety
of the
car
race.
stayed out. But Chief said to pit, and I did a Hamilton and said no and stayed out, which is what gave me all those positions in the end. So I think it was the right call. But yeah, I mean, I'm not confident at this track at all in practice. And you can see in quali, that was like my out-and-out pace. And I had a problem with my brake throughout the race, which I've been having recently, which is it registers a tiniest bit of input or when I'm not even touching the pedal. So when I'm going full throttle down a straight, it just suddenly slows down for a bit and then goes back up to speed, which means my DRS keeps turning off as well. So that's not ideal. But yeah, I mean, I never felt like confident in the whole 36 laps. I was always fighting the car at least 3 times a lap. But I managed to hold on and didn't have the best pace, but a few penalties and keeping it clean.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
Joel.
I think we saw a lot of drivers struggling on that track. Actually, we saw a lot of cars sliding around. So maybe some other guys were having the same issues as you, but definitely a good result considering that.
Yeah, definitely. I can't complain in P4 much as my best finish in Tier 2. So still yet to get a podium. I was so close, 0.034. But anyway, I can't complain with P12 to P4.
Exactly. Just imagine your qualifying performance was a little bit better. That could have been a race win.
Well, you know, I was kind of thinking that under the final safety car, that if I stick with these guys in the Desian, as I can get a penalty or something. But I just lost out to Edge in the end by that tiny margin. But Edge was faster than me today. I couldn't keep up with him, so it was just limiting the damage to the gap really in the final few laps.
Yeah, you lost out to the pole sitter as well. So that's not too bad considering you had to fight your way back up through the field there from P12 to get up to that P4. Essentially almost a P3 on the podium. So yeah, I would absolutely be happy with that one. Joel, congratulations.
Yeah, indeed. Thanks.
And that was Joel there that did that, the Red Bull driver, the British driver in the Red Bull from P12 all the way up into P4. I think we had Edge there for a second, but did he disappear?
Yeah, I saw him as well. I've just, I'll ask him if he wants to come back, but it would be interesting to have a chat with him as well, but maybe he didn't have time.
Do we get to hear from Azikin and Adizi at all as well? That did a fantastic job, obviously, the two top guns here in this league. From 9th.
I am seeing Edge now back in the interviews channel,
Yeah,
so I'll pull
let's
him
grab
in
him.
right now.
Grab him by the edge. There we go. Grabbing you by the edge. The pole setter, mate, you were absolutely blistering in qualifying. Just missing out there. Those penalties are the ones that came back and punish you. But hey, still got the podium. How was that race?
It was good. My pace was good, really, and I think the penalty will be removed 5 seconds. So, in my book, I think this is a win because Ezekiel was like 4.2 seconds back.
That's possibly exactly. That's one for the stewards, but for now, this is the provisional results.
Yeah.
You can't take it away from your absolutely blistering qualifying performance. You were.
Nevertheless, yeah. It was a good race. Safety cars didn't really help, but it was really enjoyable to fight a little. So, yeah, this is one of my best races in this season.
It is good as well too, because what I was mentioning in the commentating with Eversnacks that he's mentioned your qualifying performance has been like solid all season, but the racing performance hasn't. So they finally get that up there on the podium to taste the champagne, right? So it's got to be. This is the new Edge 2.0. Perhaps we're going to see for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, I always like to see that. I like to see the encouragement of progress. Things get you down, but the pace is not what you're lacking. Obviously, it's just the race results, and today has proven that, hey, this is a new way that you're going forward.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you.
Yeah, and obviously, provisionally, he could end up being the race winner in this race. We're not 100% sure, but the only way to find that one out, of course, is to join the Discord if you haven't joined out there, guys, in the chat. Any questions you want to ask Edge before we let him have a bit of a lay down? Eversnacks?
Just very, very, very solid race. I think we saw you at the lead of this race for quite a good part of the race. So you definitely have the pace. Will be interesting to see what happens with that penalty. But yeah, definitely something to take towards the future. Next week in Brazil, maybe you can keep it without the penalties and win the race.
Hopefully.
If you can keep the same pace. So yeah,
will
definitely
see.
looking good for you.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Come down to Brazil, mate. Have some carnivals. Relax on the beaches of Rio, and then get behind that race car and perform the best that you've done today during qualifying, and obviously on a podium. So, good job.
Thank you.
Eversnacks, mate. You want to be? I know that you're going to be wanting back in that car as quickly as possible after recovering from your toe surgery. Sure, we'll be hopefully to see you back in there. How did you find Mexico? Obviously, apart from the food was great, but the race.
Oh yeah, we saw some soft shell tacos in the race, but also a lot of crashes. I think it was a bit of a shame that we lost so many drivers. It could have been even more interesting with more of them fighting it out until the end of the race. But yeah, still some really close battles. It was very exciting for sure. Lots of stuff to commentate on. Yeah, just very exciting race. Sadly, we didn't get an extravagant podium celebration at the end. They're just a normal one. But I think the race was exciting enough for us.
I think it was, yeah.
It was definitely
I
fun
can't
to
wait
watch.
to see what's going to happen tomorrow as well, too. Obviously, for the Tier 1 that'll be coming up. So it'll wrap up our Mexican Grand Prix week here at SLR Season 7. So we've had all the tiers. Obviously, we've gone through the Tier 4, Tier 3, Tier 2, and then Tier 1 tomorrow. And those Top Guns the quickest, not to take it away from these guys being quick, but they'll be able to study this and go, okay, what happens with safety cars? What happens with tires? Can hards go this far? Can softs do this? Can mediums? That's going to be something that they'll be studying, no doubt. And, well, thank you, mate. Obviously, you and I stepped in as reserves tonight, and no doubt these gladiators gave us a great show there with their safety cars, many of them. The Thunderdome, as Bailey had said.
Oh yeah, it is the Thunder. Yeah, you don't even know the history of this tier. Yeah, so tier 2 has kind of a history of this kind of stuff happening. Just chaos in the race, lots of retirements. So I think we could call that the Thunderdome today. Tier 2 showing its best, but yeah, get ready for tier 1 tomorrow, and we should see some even faster driving.
Excellent. Or maybe more safety cars. Who knows? Hopefully less retirements. You never know what's going to happen, of course, but the only way to find out would be to tune in, and all the schedule is there on the YouTube. Thank you, everybody, obviously, for tuning in. And Tipsy Bob, Ocean Chief, all the Icewind, all the other legends out there, Makenda, everybody that's been sitting there providing all the entertainment. Sorry, I've been missing a lot of that because there was so much action. That used to go to show you if there's great racing. I didn't even get a chance to read the chats, but you guys have certainly been keeping everything entertaining. We love that. And, well, the only way to find out, of course, is to tune in tomorrow. And then next week, we'll all be heading to Brazil for carnivals. So, from myself, Biggles, and the Ever Snacks himself that did mention he'd like to snack a few times during that race, or the drivers were snacking on something. Thank you very much, mate. We'll see.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Take care. Stay safe. Get better as well. Obviously, you'll be recovering, so you'll be able to slap that loud pedal as loud as you possibly can, as soon as you can, when you're back in that cockpit. Good night. Take care. Stay safe.
Hey, everyone.